Yeah, I am. I get a little nervous, but it's good nerves. It's excitement. Welcome to Little Brettie's Kitchen. I'm your host, Brett Halling. And today on the show, we have a forensic psychologist by the name of Tenille Dilorenzo. Welcome to the show, Tenille.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm excited to have you here because I find psychology and anything psych really interesting. I'm really interested in human behaviour and why people do what they do and how they're affected by things that have happened to them. Mm-hmm. But before we get into all that kind of stuff, tell us what you do and how you got into it.
Yeah, so I think when I say I'm a forensic psychologist, people always jump to I'm some crime scene investigator.
Yeah, CSI. What was the dude's name with the studies?
Yes, all the time. That's what people think I do. And then when I say I'm a psychologist, essentially, who works with anybody who's had contact with the legal system, and that I specifically currently work in prisons, people tend to get a little bit more intrigued and have a whole bunch of questions.
You play with the bad boys.
Yeah. Or they run for their lives.
Yes. Like I did when we met on the work function.
Exactly. People tend to get a little bit scared.
Yeah, you do have a little bit of an intimidating nature about you.
No, not at all.
Now that I know you, you're very sweet and I really enjoy your company, but there's a little bit of like not to fuck with Tenille.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, that's probably true of who I am as a person. Yeah. Don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
I work in men's prisons. I don't work with women at the moment. Started working in the community a little bit as well. So mostly what I do currently is individual treatment, but also run group programs, talking with guys about mental health, drug and alcohol addiction, offending behaviour. So just an array of things.
So while they're in prison, you do therapy sessions or you just
so it's full-blown therapy. So it's quite intensive therapy if it's one-on-one. Yeah. And it can be for as long as they're in there. So some guys I've worked with for nearly 2 years, and if they come in and out, I might have, met them when I started way back 10 years ago, and I still have contact with them now. Yeah. So some of it's quite intense stuff.
How long would one session go for?
So you get an hour. Whether people use the hour or not is entirely up to them. But I've had sessions that sometimes can go for 2 hours, 2.5 hours if we both get a little bit carried away. It's not recommended because it's
we might do that tonight though, Tenille.
We can. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll just keep putting extra tequila in those margaritas.
I'll just charge you at the end.
Yes. Do you take the high caps?
We'll work it out.
Yeah. We'll sort something out. So how did you get on the journey of doing this?
Such a great question, and I wish I had a great answer, but I really don't.
You studied?
I studied, yeah. So I've always been really curious about why people do what they do, and why different things affect people in different ways, and what makes somebody be who they are, essentially. So that curiosity just kind of led me down the path of psych. I also was super interested in journalism at one point, but psych called to me, and that's where I went. And sort of through that, I was more interested in people who are perhaps a little bit more unusual and have a different kind of story and what made them lead that life.
More interesting.
Yeah. More curious. So, I found myself specialising in forensics. So I did an undergrad, postgrad, and then master's in forensic psych, and then 2 years supervision post that to get my forensic psych endorsement. And have been working in forensics ever since.
How long's that been?
10 years.
Nice.
Which is insane.
That's a good amount of experience though. Wow.
You sound so old.
Yeah, I had long service leave to Tenille one time.
Yeah, that's what I have now.
It paid for a trip around the world though. It was great. Thanks, Co-Invest.
Yeah. Madness.
Madness. So something that really changed my outlook on a lot of things in life was got to adjust my position. This pillow's a bit uncomfortable. That's better.
Fuck it off.
Yeah, just fuck it off altogether. What was I talking to you about? Oh yeah, so something that really changed my outlook on a lot of things in life, and I think it was really beneficial for me too to kind of grow up and mature and be the person that I am, was seeing people in a different way through understanding how trauma has interrupted their life in so many different ways, and stopped seeing like a druggo in the street or a homeless bum and started seeing, you know, Mark that did this and that happened to him, you know.
Yeah.
And met a few people that, by the way, Mark's not a real person. That was a fake name.
Well done, well done.
I remember meeting one man that he lost pretty much everything he had in the space of 12 months. Death in the family, death in the business, lost his job, and just his whole life fell apart. He was homeless, unemployed, and it's just shattering. And really, through those things, learning that your life can just be flipped upside down with one, you know, trauma is the word.
Absolutely. And I think for me, the people that I work with as well, a lot of them haven't come from families like most people have come from families, and they don't learn how to live in society and operate like the rest of us do. And then they're judged and people discriminate on them and they end up in the system. And that's how they learn to function, based on growing up in the system.
Yeah.
And I think for me, those people just need space and someone to listen to them. And so many times through my work, those guys are asking me why I do this job. Why I could be in the community getting paid squillions of money to be a private psych, and I'm sitting here talking to them about their lives. And it's a privilege. It's really a privilege to be part of someone's journey like that, and just
It would be
compassionate about somebody and understand where they've come from, rather than he's just a bad man and lock him away for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's right. There's a real sense of empathy behind it all, hey. You would get extremely close with people, hey.
Yeah.
That would be a tricky thing to manage.
Yes, I think the connection that you develop in a therapeutic space is confusing a lot of the time for the client.
Yeah.
Especially working with guys in the system, they don't have a lot of contact with other people. They don't open up a lot to people, and they generally don't have healthy relationships.
Oh, yeah.
So this is
That's
the
a
first
big one,
time someone's unconditionally cared for them without judgment and shown up. So yeah, it does get quite intense.
And listened.
Yeah. So we call it transference and countertransference. So what plays out from the client to the therapist, and what plays out from the therapist to the client. So all that shit that gets involved. And I am a board-approved supervisor now, so I supervise new psychs coming in as well. And a lot of the conversations are around what's your shit and what's their shit, and when's your shit getting in the way of their shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel that happens to me a lot.
Happens to all of us. People are triggering.
You copped a big vent from me one day at work.
I love that shit though, isn't it great?
Oh, yeah. That came at a really, important time.
I'm all for that. I love that shit.
Yeah, what? Me just dumping everything?
Yeah, feel free.
Oh, my God. I don't know if I'm prepared for that yet.
How do you feel?
Oh, I feel stronger at the moment, actually.
Yeah,
I've been feeling
that's
stronger, Tenille.
great.
Yeah.
That's really good to hear.
Thanks. Yeah. It's been a pretty... Oh, it's the most... 2020 was, I think, the most difficult year of many people's life, but extremely difficult for me in so many ways.
Well, special set of circumstances.
Yeah. As well as all the COVID stuff that everyone was doing too, you know. Big changes in my life that were hard to cope with.
So if we were in a therapy session right now, I'd be calling you out on why you chose to take a drink right then.
Why? Oh my God, see, this is what she does. Taylor Gang, look at it. Taylor Gang. Look at it. Oh my God.
She's like, I'm out.
Why'd he do it?
Oh, I'm so scared now. See, this is why you don't fuck with Tenille. Oh my God.
So good. So good.
What was it?
No,
Come on.
you're the one who needs to tell me why you did it. Were you
don't
uncomfortable?
know.
Were you feeling all right?
Oh yeah, of course that was uncomfortable to talk about. Yeah, it's not easy to talk about.
Definitely not. And that's the beauty of what I do. People talk about all that shit that they are uncomfortable to talk about, and they do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's humbling.
Give me 2 seconds to bring this microphone in closer to your face. Okay, we can cut this a little bit out.
Not much, but you also have a much stronger voice.
Yeah, I do.
I can get yelly.
Yeah.
you want me to get yelly?
You can rap if you want.
Oh, no.
You can.
It's not in my expertise.
I'll put the intro music back on. Also, Tenille, Taylor Gang, my producer, and camera magical buttons girl. This is I got this desk from Damo from work, our mate.
Yeah, love it.
And it's like leather top and everything. Got Taylor Gangs over there in the cockpit now. Well, we can't call it the cockpit, can we?
It feels good in the cockpit.
And Taylor Gang's got a microphone, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
My favourite button. Oh, where were we, Tenille? We were talking about how trauma affects people and what it can do. Yeah. Feel like lately or in 2022 there was a bit of that going on.
A lot of trauma, I think, for a lot of different people. I think trauma, like loss. Loss is a trauma, and how people experience loss. And yeah,
at some points, I really understood how people turn to addiction.
Yeah.
To really escape some of the pain and like stress and everything that I was going through.
Yeah.
I was like, you could really slide down some slippery paths here. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't really understand when it comes to drugs and addiction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of times those things come from people's trauma.
Yes. And I think that people don't know how to deal with emotion, and that emotion is really scary.
Oh my God, as a man as well, that whole
yeah, absolutely.
Toxic masculinity thing.
Yeah. And it's, men don't cry and all that sort of stuff, and we're all human at the end of the day, and unfortunately emotions are part of being
it's what
human.
We feel. What we feel is what we feel. You can't help that, can you?
Yeah, but people will try endlessly to run away from it and suppress it, and that's when all sorts of things play out. But it's actually, I find really interesting that people are okay with anger as an emotion.
Yeah.
Anger is never actually just anger. It's always something going
it's
on behind
it. It's
it.
a masking of what you're really feeling, yeah. I feel like that's, only as speaking as a man, I feel like a lot of that comes from a young age. We're taught, harden up, get up, you'll be right, don't worry about it, to suppress the emotion or the experience of what we're feeling. And then, the only really way a lot of guys express themselves is through that anger and just, that's how it comes out.
Yeah, yep. I think people also struggle with the idea of, if I break down and cry, what's everyone else around me going to do? Are people going to be able to handle that? What are people going to say? Is it going to make someone else uncomfortable? So
a lot of people don't really know how to how do you help someone? Taylor Gang over there, she had to put up with a lot of my emotions through 2020, and thank you for that, Taylor. But she didn't really know what to do, which was cute.
Don't have any hot tips of how to respond to someone?
Not one, and it's part of my job.
Oh, okay, that's fabulous.
But like I said to you, Taylor, just being there was enough,
Yes. And I think that is absolutely key. People just need people to rock up. Just show up. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Just be there.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything else than that.
Don't have to say anything.
New psychs always ask me, what do you do? What do you actually do? What's your day to day? I just sit and listen to people. That's all I do. Just turn up when no one else will turn up and just listen.
Sometimes you ask questions.
Sometimes I ask questions.
Hard questions. Tenille and I are going to break through some barriers one day, Taylor Gang. I feel like there was a few times in a couple of therapy sessions that I had where there was something that I was touching on that was really hitting a nerve. I don't know, but I couldn't figure out what was going on. She's going to get me there.
I'm excited to see what it is.
Same. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow at 8 a.m.
I can't wait.
Oh, goodness. Would you like another margarita?
I'm okay for now.
I haven't finished that one yet.
I do have to drive home.
True, yeah. Next time we'll do it on a Saturday night and we can sit here and just drink margaritas all night.
It's a good plan.
nuts.
I'm down for that.
Oh, God. So going back to when you spend a lot of time with clients and boundaries would get blurred for them, I feel like.
Yeah.
And being a woman as well.
Yes.
You'd probably get a lot of attachment, hey?
Yeah, and I think it's expected,
Mm.
given where I work, and given the people that I'm working with, who don't usually have, I guess, the attention. Not that it's necessarily attention, but the space of someone just listening to every single thing they're saying and having their full attention. So yeah, it does get a little bit murky, but I think boundaries are
That's
so
the word,
important.
isn't it?
Um,
That's when you need Taylor Gang. That's when we need because 2022 is the year of boundaries for me.
Yes.
Mm.
And boundaries keep us safe, they keep clients safe, they keep everyone safe. And it's how we build trust.
So a lot of people might have heard the word boundaries and what it is, but how do you actually enforce a good, healthy boundary?
Yeah. So I think it's being consistent and being clear on what the expectations are. So what's the purpose of why we're here? And then sticking to that. So people that I work with like to push boundaries because it's how they get what they want, and it's how they manipulate, and it's how they've kept themselves safe their entire lives. And then someone like me comes along and we're all like, boundary, 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 but tell me everything about you, but I'm not going to disclose anything about myself.
Yes.
So you just have to keep
that's
to
the
that.
weird part of therapy, isn't it? When you just like, you get right in, you just give it all to someone, and then you don't even know anything about them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. If you're lucky, you might learn one or two of their hobbies.
Yeah. I don't really disclose much at all about myself, but people like to make assumptions, and I think that's okay because I have to become what they need me to be. That's why I don't disclose anything.
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference between being boundaried and being a blank slate. And I remember learning a lot when I was in uni around be a blank slate, don't express anything, keep your face a certain way, don't give anything about who you could potentially be. I'm just not that person.
That's a good segue into what I was explaining. A big part of why you're here is because I want to break down that I think a lot of people have seen the TV and movies, the old bald guy with the clipboard, writing notes down, and I think that puts the idea in people's heads that it's an intimidating scene, right? Yeah. And then to kind of learn that someone as cool and funky fresh as you is a psych, and that's an important thing. Is you need to vibe with your therapist, and if it's someone you don't really relate to, or you might prefer a woman, you might prefer a man, it's a very important thing to kind of find what works for you.
Yeah, and I'm not everyone's person. I'm not going to work for everybody, and that's okay. But yes, I am not what you would expect a forensic psych to be, I guess.
I mean, you're intimidating in your own way, but certainly not like I wouldn't want to not sit in a room with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think connection that's what makes therapy work. You have to connect with people on an authentic level. And if you can't do that, no one's going to respond to you. So parts of me come into the room. That's my shit. It has to be there for me to be part of it.
Yeah, a little bit to your personality and stuff. Yeah, because it makes you more relatable too. Hey.
Yes.
Yeah. Jackson, my friend who came in last week and did an episode, he does shake counselling, and his thing is a unique handshake with each client, and that's a way that he builds a unique connection with them, builds a bit of trust and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very important, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. And it develops differently for different clients and in different ways based on what their experiences have been. But I really enjoy when I can get to a place with a client where I don't have to actually speak, just my facial expressions are enough for them to go, okay, I know what I'm doing. Yeah,
true. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You do. I'm picturing you looking at me like that tomorrow at 8 a.m. Oh, shit. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I feel like you would. I can't believe you don't watch Mass as a psych.
Yeah.
I think you should have been there with me.
I think it hurts my soul.
It's an interesting environment.
Yeah. I think if it's too edited. It's not a real story. It's what they want you to see, and I'm not down for that.
That's where you're wrong.
Oh, I'm okay to be wrong.
I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to be so.
No, I'm good to be wrong.
But yeah, there's that rumor or that impression that it's edited and they make you out to be something you're not and everything like that. But what I watched back was a very realistic representation of people's character.
Yeah.
And the way they behaved. It's video surveillance of our behaviour.
You don't think it's highlighted and intensified?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's the environment. That's the whole thing. It's not a realistic environment. When in life would you sit down with, 15, 20 other people and openly discuss your relationships and that sort of thing? So that's the social experiment. That's what it is.
Yeah. My friend is watching it, and I was at her house last night. We watched the episode, and I'm just watching these people unravel, and I'm thinking,
Mhm.
surely they knew that they had that in them before they signed up for this. Why are they putting themselves in this position?
But that's the interesting thing.
Uh,
That's the interesting thing, that if you were to sit and watch the whole thing, like from inside, behind the cameras
yeah.
in the room, if you were one of the experts, Tenille, that's where it's interesting
Experts.
to watch. Like I said, I'm very interested in people's behaviours. Part of the reason why I went on there was
Yeah,
to watch
and
what was going to go
I think
down.
that's the only thing that
Oh
I'll
my
do.
God.
Just to be the fly on the wall.
It's sometimes pretty hard to believe that people behave like that on national TV.
Do you think they forget that they're on national TV, or they just don't give a fuck?
Oh, some people say they forget, but I don't know. The thing for me was, like, you get to know some of the cameramen and sound guys by first name and actually build friendships with them, You spend a lot of time with them, like traveling on the road and stuff. And so you got to know them. And if, Mark, who, by the way, from earlier, he's repaired his life and he's a cameraman now.
He's a cameraman.
Yeah, he's cameraman
Go,
now.
Mark.
So if Mark's sitting there, right, and we've got a letter under the door or something, and we're going to have a conversation about some shit, it's going to go down. I think they're doing intimacy week at the moment or something.
Yeah.
Alessandra's favourite week. What a beautiful woman she is. But Mark's sitting there. So I don't forget that he's in the room. Like, Taylor Gang's here now. I'm not forgetting she's here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like people that say that stuff's a bit of a cop out.
I just it's not real life. That's not how relationships work.
No, that's right.
You
but
don't
it's not
sit
real
there and do intimacy week with your partner.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
I want
that's
you
the
to
thing.
look into my eyes for 5 minutes. Fuck that. No fucking way.
That's so scary. That is so scary to sit there and stare into someone's eyes for a long period of time.
And how long have you known that person for at that point?
One of the ones we had to do was make out for 10 minutes.
No one's doing that.
We managed like 8 minutes or something. And I had stubble. Yeah.
Pash rush.
It's just like Survivor in some ways, There's challenges.
The people on Survivor are like, hey, you just did that. You just compared maps to Survivor.
Oh, shit. There's similarities. There it is. Oh, my God.
They're more open with their manipulation.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that.
Oh, manipulation. Sometimes I feel like I'm a really manipulative person.
Yeah.
And it worries me that I'm a bad person.
You
But-
think being manipulative is bad?
Yeah.
What makes you think you're a manipulative person?
Sometimes, like, I don't know, I just will try and do things to get people to do things.
For example?
Like enforce boundaries to make people learn healthy behaviours.
Is that manipulative, or is that just protecting yourself and enforcing boundaries?
No, but I mean, that's a simple way of explaining it. I just mean, like, I guess a good example last night was I was chatting to a friend about her and her ex-boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my best interest for them to be together because I love them both, right? And I was kind of driving the conversation with her in ways to try and encourage her to, get back with him. And I feel like I was being a little bit manipulative,
Yeah.
but it was for good. It was good purpose.
It was for yourself.
Well, in some ways,
Mm.
because I like him together, and I want him to be happy.
Yeah.
And that's a little, they're not together. So I'm being a little bit selfish in this situation.
Mm.
Is that bad?
I think using bad and good is not helpful. I think it's about what's helpful and what's unhelpful, what's healthy and what's unhealthy. And that's different for everybody.
Okay. Well, I did make sure that my best interest aligned with hers before I started trying to
Yeah.
encourage the situation. I won't say manipulate anymore.
I think we're all a little manipulative.
Yes, we are. We do have those little things in it where you kind of do things to when, you know,
Yeah.
Taylor doesn't fill up the ice tray.
Blast me on Instagram.
Oh, so the other day I slid out the ice tray and there was no ice in it, and I put it on Instagram story like, does anyone else hate this? One of my pet peeves, like along with people that can't merge.
See, that's not manipulative. That's passive aggressive.
Yes, it is. It is. What did you come out and say?
I replied to your story. I was like, fuck, man, just tell me. Don't put me on Instagram.
Yeah,
Put me
yeah.
on
Don't
shame.
out me to 94,000 people.
Oh shit. Well, how long have we been going for, Taylor gang?
Bear with me. 28 minutes.
Cool.
28 minutes.
Nice.
Maybe take off 5 for the
Oh no, it was only a couple. Two,
rejig,
I reckon.
just round.
We had a big break in the Jackson episode where we stopped for about 10 minutes. And we had another drink. I actually want another drink. I'm going to get a beer.
Treat yourself.
Oh.
Treat yourself.
VB's on camera. Back. I felt like I had to press a button then. So,
I can unpause.
what you...
I won't judge you. It's okay.
What was that?
I was just getting behind the scenes.
Oh, were you? You should have got some while I was actually talking. Just dribbling shit right then. Was that okay to take a drink at that time?
Yeah, you know. See, and this is the thing I hate about being a psych. Every time I say something or I do something or I get into an argument with someone, stop analysing me. Stop psychologizing me. I'm like, I'm just being a human. I'm not your psychologist. I'm just a human right now.
Do you want to be? How many times from the moment you started studying psychology to where you are now have people said something along the lines of, so what do you do with yourself? You psychologist? Oh, I'm your bloody number one patient right here.
I think I try and lie a
Yeah.
lot of the time
Yeah,
in a lot of different
true.
situations because people ask questions that, like, they want to know what it looks like, especially when they hear about the prison part or like just the type of people that I work with. So you're in a room with like a guard? No, I'm not. Oh, so just you and a guy and a guard's at the door? Nah. And sometimes I'm in a room with 12 or 16 guys and it's just me and them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, but like not like murderers. Like, why do we have to whisper murderers?
In case they come and get you. They'll jump out.
Like hiding in the shower.
But that would be an intimidating situation, being in the room with 12 criminals and just you.
It's actually really, really interesting because I've never thought about it at all. I just do it and I love it.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine myself doing anything else other than maybe walking people's dogs, but you know, that can't make a living out of that.
Yeah, you can. Or you can get a side hustle.
But I think what I'm really good at is seeing the person, seeing the human.
Yes. Yeah.
And not seeing what they've done or what they're still doing. But just, you're just a human and I'm just a human and we're just going to talk.
Yeah.
And
That's absolutely crucial in, like I was saying before about how when I started to understand trauma a little bit more and started to really see people for like I said, Mark, you know, saw him for Mark.
Yeah.
And it changes the way you treat people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because I think a lot of people use labels and they're quite emotive, like junkie or murderer, you know, rapist, all these real strong language around people, and they're just people. And yeah, they've done some things that they probably regret or that they, you know, are now doing time for. They're going to come back out into the community. So from a community perspective, we need people in there helping them. And from a human perspective, they need somebody to listen to and to understand
a lot of those
themselves.
behaviours too, like their offending or their drug use or their criminal ways, whatever it might be, they're the root cause of all that is the trauma.
Yeah.
And then once you sort of get down to that, that's when you see Mark
Yeah.
and the cameraman.
Yeah.
You know, but you're right. Like those stickers or those judgments and those attachments that people put on, don't really understand that the person's not defined by what they've done, but like where they've come from.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And Mark's probably got this like child in him that
Little boy,
never got to
scared little
grow
boy.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I get to see that in therapy and nurture that and help that person grow up, essentially.
Yeah, because I guess a lot of childhood trauma would really make people create a hard shell from a very early age.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
I think one of the things I try and get clients to is have hope, because a lot of them don't have hope. And hope's a real scary thing for them, because if you have hope, it can be taken away and you can be disappointed. And you're not trusting of yourself, you're not trusting of the world. And that's really scary to then have hope in something and be disappointed, because that creates rage and all these other kind of emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and how do you start to create hope in someone that hasn't had it for such a long time?
I think I hold it for them at the beginning. And when they see that somebody else believes in them, they start to realize that maybe they're worth that. And that's part of, I guess, the connection that we build. And then as treatment progresses, it's kind of like you hold the power in the beginning, you hold the hope, and then as we move through, that transitions to the client, and they have the hope and they have the power.
That's cool. And that's how you start to get long-term changes in people, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to smile, because that's one of your favourite parts of the job, isn't it?
It's so good when you have these clients and they have that moment, like when you just tell someone, you're really brave, and you see their face change. And like a lot of these guys are like tough guys, and they have this little boy in them that like kind of comes to the surface, and then they're like, oh yeah, no, whatever, like that's okay.
But
like,
the toughness is the cover. That's the shell they put around themselves, hey?
Yeah.
It's difficult to be emotionally vulnerable.
Absolutely.
For anyone.
Absolutely. I don't like it. So I can understand. Like, it's so humbling. Some of the stuff that these guys do, it's just blows my mind.
Yeah. I got to, I mean, I don't do the same things that you do, but supporting people to try and live more, I guess, balanced and healthy, natural lives. Yeah. Got to see some long-term changes in someone, and it was like, yes, I'm on the right track. I'm doing good stuff. It was nice. And it came, like, seeing someone have the strength to go and do things independently was cool.
Yeah. It's you get really proud.
Yeah.
Of them.
For them, yeah. And like
it
was a big part of the environment that we have at the Parent You Project. There's a lot of people. It's like a team attack. If someone's coming in needing help, it's boom, 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 boom. We get you from all angles.
It's so beautiful to watch, which is actually what I really, really love about the Power in You.
Yeah.
I've been fighting a system for 10 years that is like, you know, banging my head against a brick wall. And then I come to the Power in You and they're like, what do you need? Let's do everything. We'll put everything together and we'll make it happen. And it's beautiful to watch. Yeah,
Kane's very good at keeping that form of help like paramount.
A group of real passionate people, and that's what you need.
Yes. Yeah, we're very lucky to have the staff that we have, hey.
Yeah.
It's such a good team, and everyone feels like, you know, the same sort of shares a common goal. It's such a good environment to be in.
And I've worked with some great, you know, psychs and social workers in prisons, and they're so passionate and they do some really, really, really beautiful work in there as well. It's just about, I always say, we're redefining success. So whether they get out and they come back in, that doesn't mean it wasn't successful. It doesn't mean they didn't change. It's just, you know, what did they do differently? Did they last longer out there than before? And were they not using as many drugs or using, you know, whatever it was? And it's just really nice. But I feel like the community has a whole different aspect to it. It's exciting. I think that's what I think clients often underestimate, that I love my job and I really care about them, and it's not, you know, therapy ends and I never think about them again. Like there's people that I'll hold in my head forever.
Yeah.
And they impact me, and they make me want to change.
Yeah. Yeah. I've felt that a lot through clients. Like, I feel like some of them have balanced me out in a few ways. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was nice to have some really alpha males, you know, nearby, and not just clients, but I think workers as well, like co-workers and stuff, to sort of think for a little while there. I was swinging so far to a feminine side of myself. It was nice to kind of absorb some like things off them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a little bit of balance.
Absolutely. And I was thrown out of balance, Tenille.
Yeah.
I was thrown well out of balance, hey, Taylor gang?
Big time.
He's uncomfortable. Do you care to share?
No, not ready to really talk about all that yet. Oh.
We'll get there. Baby steps.
I'll tell you at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh, okay, can't wait.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ready to talk about it here. I probably already told you most of it anyway. Oh, and then probably everyone listening's probably like, what the fuck's he talking about?
Yeah. You're just building suspense.
Yeah. One day I'll talk about it.
Episode 20.
I did actually think about like doing a live therapy session.
Oh.
That would be cool.
I don't know. Ethically, how would that sit? I don't know.
If I'm down for it, what's the matter?
Maybe we might have to get you to sign a waiver.
Yeah. I thought it would be kind of cool to demonstrate to people what happens within a therapeutic setting, you know?
Yeah, actually because like you said, you know, people can be scared or intimidated, not know what to expect. And it's so hard to ask for help.
Oh my God. It's the hardest part, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things in life.
Especially now when there's such long wait lists, no matter where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a good thing in a way because it means more people are asking for help, hey?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good thing to do. It actually takes a lot of strength. A lot of people see it as a weakness, asking for help. I mean, I know I was doing that a lot. I was trying to do everything myself. I was unwilling to ask and receive help. I don't know, stubbornness, ego, whatever it might have been.
Yeah, it's hard to understand that sometimes. Like, why is it so frowned upon to ask for help? Because everyone's always so willing to help everyone else, which means someone's asking for help somewhere.
Right.
And no
People
one's judging
want you
them.
to ask for help. Like, I wish you had just said,
Yeah.
just ask me. I'll do it anytime. Like, everyone's always willing to help, but people aren't willing to ask for it.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard?
It's culture, society.
Yeah. Yeah, true. And I guess you're really dropping your guard when you ask for help, aren't you?
It's vulnerable.
Yeah.
And everyone's
That's
on
the
this
word.
mission to prove that they've got their shit together.
Mm-hmm.
No one's got their shit
Yeah, that's
together.
right. That's a good point. People do tend to feel the pressure to what's that slogan? It's okay to not be okay or something like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. It's okay to not be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It's
And
not
I
good.
think circling right back round to when someone cries and not knowing what to do, or when someone's in
Yes.
distress and not knowing what to do, I think it's always all right to say, how can I help?
Yeah, that's right. That's a big one, isn't it? How can I help? Not kind of doing what you think you have to.
Yeah.
Just asking.
And or just, I don't know what to say right now,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just going to be here.
Yeah, that's a good. There's some healthy tips for people, eh?
Yeah.
Life hacks.
Yeah, life hacks.
Next Taylor gang. Next time I'm crying,
There you go.
you can just say. Actually, Taylor did a really nice thing the other night. I had to put my dog Ruby down, my 12-year-old husky.
No.
Yeah, it was difficult to work up to that point to be able to do it. There was a lot going on in my life. There was a lot going on in my life. It's okay. Like, it's such a relief that she's not in pain anymore. She had really bad arthritis and stuff. So, but Taylor gang, the darling that she is, I came home and there was 2 little bags of Japanese grape candies on the bench. Yeah, nice.
Thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
Oh. Thanks, Taylor.
You're welcome.
I've always fucked that button up. Oh, no, but sorry. Healthy hints for people to really understand how to help someone when they're in need. There you go. You can just
Yeah.
be there. That's help in itself.
Yep.
Ask, how can I help?
I think the key is curiosity. As long as you're curious about somebody else's story and what they're going through, you're going to ask questions and you're going to bring that out in them. And people just don't want to feel alone.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes you have to be kind to yourself too, you know. Like you said, it's okay not to be okay. So we can be down and we can just sit in that and
Yes.
create space for that. That's
That's
okay.
the hard. That can be that was some of the hard part is when you just got to sit there and you got to feel it. You
Yeah.
got to wait for it to pass.
I think if you suppress what you're feeling, then you can't heal.
Yeah.
Because we have to feel it to heal.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. So profound. You got to feel it to heal it.
That's this thing, right? I'm all about a metaphor. Love it. And I think one of my mates told me this, but sometimes, like, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes it feels like there is no light in that tunnel.
Yes.
So sometimes it can feel like we're in a cave and you have to keep walking into the darkness of the cave and it gets heavier and darker and harder. But if you just keep walking, you'll figure out it is a tunnel and there will be light.
Oh my God.
Love it. I love
That's
it.
the journey, huh? It's just about you got to keep going.
Yeah.
You do. The good days come.
You just gotta get through the darkness. And that's it. You have to get through it. You can't go around it. You can't bail on it, suppress it. You won't get through it.
That's like the going on a bear hunt.
Yeah. We're going on a bear hunt.
We can't go over it. Can't go over it. We have to go through it. That's the new self-help album, isn't it? You got to feel it to heal it. Oh, what are we at, Taylor Gang? Might be time to... We try to keep them under an hour, I think. Is there anything else you want to add? You got any questions for me?
Honestly, I don't even know what I've said and what I haven't said.
You've been really good, Tenille. We've spoken about like what you do and what it's like in a therapy session. We've spoken about how to help people. We've been some cool stuff.
We're at 45 minutes, so
Nice.
Do you have any questions that people might want to ask a
Ooh.
psychologist?
Oh, see,
Putting myself on the spot here.
when we eventually will have, I can set up a phone and call.
Oh,
People
God,
can call
no.
in. Yeah.
I'll be busy.
We'll have Tenille live stream from the
No.
chair.
like once a week.
No.
Live from the manifestation station. This is what we have to call this place.
No, I'm busy then.
Maybe
A lot going
if
on.
you would be kind enough to come back in and not go live, we could actually queue up some questions from
Yeah, absolutely.
any followers and listeners out there to if they've got any questions for a psychologist about all things psych.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be good.
That also means she's keen on coming back, Taylor Gang.
We've done it.
I
Yeah.
think he just manipulated me.
Yes. Just smashed my head on the chair. Oh shit! No, I didn't. Maybe I did a little bit.
I think you are
Oh.
a very good manipulator.
Fuck, am I?
Yeah.
But at least I do it for good things.
Does that matter?
Spreading the good message about psychology for the people out there if they've got questions for you.
It's important. That is
Yeah. It was your idea in the first place. Shut
Not
up.
for me. I was asking you.
Yeah, maybe I could have queued that up. I tend to go and just shoot from the hip here, though.
I think that's a good way to be. Wing it. I'm always winging it.
Yeah. Yeah, we just wing it in life, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, we're all winging it.
Mm. What about you, Tenille? You got any questions for me?
I have so
Your host, Lil Breddy?
so many
Do ya?
questions.
Really?
Um,
I love questions because they're fun to answer. And when people ask you a question, it feels like they're interested in you.
you like people to be interested in you?
I think everyone does, don't they? Or in the right ways, like, people, I think, don't we? I guess introverts don't crave that attention, but when you find common interests or someone you like, you want them to be interested in you.
Why?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
You opened this up.
I don't know. Well, I guess if you're sitting at the table with someone and you're trying to have a conversation and they're disinterested, it's not a nice feeling. But if someone's like, oh, really? How long have you been doing that for? Then it's nice. Yeah.
Why do you think you like external validation so much?
Oh, here we go. We paused for a little bit there for a bathroom break and a drink break.
Oh no, I'm
And also because,
sorry.
also because you asking me way too many hard questions.
Oh no. While I was peeing, I was thinking of some more, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Let's go with one more question.
Oh, can
The
I
hardest one you can think of,
Yes.
please. Yeah.
Give me the hard questions.
Can I ask a real psych question?
Mhm.
How do you feel?
How do I feel?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question back or just go straight into
No, you
it?
can ask a question.
How do I feel like right now, overall, or like
Let's start with right now, and we'll go from there.
I feel really good.
If good's not a feeling.
If good's not a feeling, oh yeah, great. Elaborate. I feel
Looking for
really
substance,
excited.
yeah.
I feel really grateful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I feel happy. I feel excited
Yeah.
because I feel like this has gone really well. I feel like you've been a great guest. We've spoken about some really interesting things, and this is something that I love doing. So I'm grateful for your attendance and your participation.
Thank you.
And I feel good because for a long part of my life I was struggling to cope with a lot of things, and I was putting this part of my life off for a little while. So it's nice to actually be doing it,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm doing it good. I'm going to be proud of myself and say I'm doing a good job of it. But you're a big part of that as well. So is Taylor Gang. It's a team effort. You got to start to let people into your life to help you, Tenille.
That's exactly it. Isn't
Something that I've learned recently.
Yeah. I think I appreciate you doing this because it's definitely talking about relevant things and asking hard questions and shining light on stuff that people often run away from.
Thank you very much.
That's okay. You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. That's a great way to end it, isn't it? And now that it's my outro music, the last guest did a rap. So,
No, thank you.
oh, okay. But also, I have a little tradition now that started last week. We take a Polaroid picture, and if you want, you can play dress-ups with the weird stuff that was hanging on the back of my door.
Yep.
But you also have to throw 3 darts, and the highest score, we're going to keep a tally. Don't worry, Jackson only scored 17.
Do you get more points if you miss the board?
No,
Oh.
that's a 0.
I feel like you should change that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, -1 if you miss the board.
No, like +1.
For you, Tenille, because I'm scared of you. Thanks for coming in.